The universe is full of unanswerable questions. Which came first, the hippo or the egg? How many light bulbs does it take to change a person? Is cereal a salad? The answers to these queries may never be discovered. But speaking of cereal, there is a perplexing problem that has stumped humans since the dawn of time. Which should be poured first, the cereal or the milk?
Jimmy O'Reilly, young boy in Wisconsin, tried to solve this dilemma in 1983. For years, his traditional Wisconsinian family pressured him to pour his cereal in first. Unfortunately, he was also an elite member of an ancient society that had been pouring milk before cereal for centuries. But deep down inside, he couldn't help but feel that neither of these solutions were right.
After 3 years, Jimmy just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't go on like this. He had to find another way. Luckily, Jimmy was famous for being the smartest kindergartner in his entire family. He spent weeks planning, drawing up schematics, and constructing prototypes. Finally, he had cracked the case. Jimmy was going to pour the milk and the cereal into his bowl at the same time.
The night before his first attempt to pull off the daring scheme, Jimmy made sure to eat a hearty bowl of cereal. He needed to be on his A game to pull off the mental acrobatics required for such a feat.
The next morning, Jimmy was trembling in fevered anticipation. He got out of bed before his parents, donned his hazmat suit, and crept downstairs. He took a carton of milk and a box of Lucky Charms out of the refrigerator and set them on the table. He took a deep breath, summoned all his inner strength, and poured the cereal and the milk into the bowl at the same time.
The milk engulfed the cereal, releasing a glowing blue light. Jimmy stared, transfixed, at the bowl. The cereal began to snap, crackle, and pop with incredible energy. He was struck by a bolt of supercharged milk and knocked unconscious.
A few hours later, Jimmy awoke on the floor. It seemed that the maelstrom had ended as quickly as it had begun. The bowl of cereal was lying on the table as if nothing had happened. Jimmy carefully inspected the dish. His hypothesis had been correct. It seemed that both the cereal and the milk had entered the bowl and were now coexisting peacefully.
Jimmy knew that he had stumbled upon something big. This invention could change the world. Valuable hours would no longer be wasted pouring milk and cereal separately. He rushed to the NSA, or National Cereal Agency, to report his findings. The Cereal Council was, of course, very impressed. If correct, Jimmy would have made the greatest advance in cereal technology since the discovery of the cow.
Of course, Jimmy's claims were not met without opposition. The NFL, National Flapjack League, had been funded by the consumption of pancakes for breakfast for years. They knew that if released, Jimmy's invention could put them out of business for good. One of the NFL's executives, Jeff Allen, had this to say.
I was chowing down on my morning flapjacks when it happened. That we all thought the flapjack signal was going off. It was a cold syrup. We were all scrambling around trying to figure out what was going on. We can't let this impertinent rapscallion Jimmy Hake down a great pop of pancake. Not now. Not ever.
In a desperate attempt to keep their flapjacks afloat, the NFL claimed that Jimmy had faked his revolutionary discovery. The NSA called him in to demonstrate how he had synthesized the best chemical compound since sliced bread. But to his horror, when Jimmy attempted to recreate his experiment, he failed. He tried and tried, but he just couldn't get the magic to happen again. Please, you gotta believe me, guys. I swear, I got it to work before. Honestly, come on, how could this be a fake? It's the real deal. Just give me another chance.
Unfortunately for Jimmy, when the NSA investigated further, they found that the substance was indeed a fake, using undisclosed scientific methods. Apparently, Jimmy's so-called combination of cereal and milk was in fact merely a bunch of sugary lumps of grain floating in a bowl of milky liquid. His results from the first experiment were deemed a fluke, and the NFL prevailed.
Despite this, many of the smartest scholars beg to differ. Detectives from all over Wisconsin agree that the NFL may very well have tampered with Jimmy's experimentation. The authorities managed to uncover pancakes, maple syrup, and several posters depicting famous NFL agents in Jimmy's house. Additionally, eyewitness accounts suggest that foul play could have been involved in Jimmy's failure. Here is what Jimmy's neighbor, a senior citizen named Martha, had to say about the incident.
Just pouring myself some milk and cereal when it happened. I looked out the window and spotted several muscular guys clad in helmets, protective padding, and shirts with numbers on them. They touched down at 6 points around Jimmy and tackled him to the ground. They passed a brown leather device to his house. Oddly enough, I couldn't see the ref during the game, but I'm sure it's no big deal.
To this day, billions of man-hours are wasted carefully measuring out and pouring milk and cereal separately. It's certainly disappointing to think about what could have been and just how far Jimmy's invention could have taken our society. Today, Jimmy O'Reilly works as a cereal manufacturer, injecting automatic crunch into cereal boxes on the assembly line. 2 years ago, Jimmy had this to say when speaking at a national cereal fan club meeting.
I spent my days wandering about what could have been. I could have had it all. Money, fame, fortune, money. It all could have been mine. I just know that those nasty NFL goons had something to do with this. They stole my victory. They took everything I had. Well, if it's a fight they want, it's a fight they're gonna get. I've been cooking up a new formula, and this one's sure to work. Just you wait. Just you wait.
Jimmy vanished shortly after. It is unknown whether the NFL had something to do with his disappearance due to lack of evidence. Leave a comment down below. Do you think the NFL abducted Jimmy? Is he still out there preparing his formula in secret? Let us know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. more content about very smart occurrences. Bidding you a smart day.